The boy just glanced at the candlelight, but his eyes suddenly felt a sharp pain. Because he spent so much time with Xiao Kui, the boy also got infected with the eye worms. It's a disease that makes people afraid of sunlight. The mother invited many famous doctors to check, but none could find the cause. In the end, the girl was locked in a pitch-dark storeroom, and only her brother visited her often. But that day, the mother discovered the boy also started fearing the sun. So she immediately went to the storeroom and told Xiao Kui that her brother wouldn't come to see her anymore because he had also been infected. But the mother still didn't want to hurt Xiao Kui, so she told her it was her fault, all because of the eye worms. But as soon as the mother came out of the storeroom, she saw her son's door wide open. She was very worried, afraid that the sunlight would hurt his eyes. However, a man suddenly appeared in the room and said it was okay. He also claimed to be a specialist in handling such cases. He told the mother that keeping the boy in a dark environment would only worsen his condition. This man was Yinggu, who had traveled here and happened to hear about Xiao Kui's situation, so he came to take a look. He said the boy was lucky. The worms in his eyes had just hatched and he could be cured with medication. Meanwhile, the boy who was dozing off saw Xiao Kui in his dream, tearfully apologizing to him. Suddenly, the boy woke from his dream and he was surprised to discover his eyes weren't aching. Yinggu then explained to him that Xiao Kui's eye condition was actually caused by a type of worm called the eye dark worm. They reproduce in dark places, and since the boy had spent an extended period with Xiao Kui, he had also become infected with these eye dark worms. It was at this point that the boy also recognized Yinggu was the one-eyed boy Xiao Kui had spoken of. It turned out that when they were together, Xiao Kui had said that when she closed her second eyelid, she would see a glowing river. The beautiful light would irresistibly draw her closer. At that moment, a voice would tell her not to approach the river. That voice belonged to Yinggu. At night, the two of them went to the storeroom where Xiao Kui was, but when Yinggu removed the cloth covering Xiao Kui's eyes, they found her eyes had turned into two black holes. It was quite evident that Xiao Kui had indeed gotten close to that river, and this unfortunate action had caused her eyes to become necrotic and essentially die. To attempt to save Xiao Kui, Yinggu made the decision to utilize the moonlight to coax those troublesome worms out. He instructed Xiao Kui to first close her second eyelid, and then very slowly to open her eyes again. As the moonlight shone upon her, a considerable amount of thick viscous liquid abruptly materialized within her eyes. The liquid started flowing slowly towards the moonlight, but when it saw Yinggu, it abruptly surged like a rushing flood, completely engulfing him. Yinggu, however, remains calm. He seemed to spot something within the flow of worms. After he came back up to the surface, he instructed Xiao Kui to close her eyes. Then, a portion of the worms were drawn back into Xiao Kui. Once Yinggu had shaken off the sticky liquid from himself, he was holding a long purple worm in his hand. Upon contact with the moonlight, the worm instantly withered and perished. The boy was completely mesmerized by this spectacle. The next step involved Xiao Kui's eyes. Yinggu carefully opened her eyelids and confirmed that her eyeballs were indeed non-functional. Under the boy's terrified gaze, Yinggu removed his prosthetic eye and infused it with the liquid eye dark worms, causing the artificial eye to become animated just like a natural one. As Yinggu placed it into Xiao Kui's eye socket, a beam of light shot up into the sky, and Xiao Kui finally emerged from the darkness, seeing the sight she had longed for.